Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. That's from a guy. He is 30 years old. He's from the land down under. And he emailed me to share his story about how he recently kicked to the curb his girlfriend that he had for the last couple of years. And why did he kick her to the curb? Well, the reason is because she, as time went on, became psychotically clingy and needy and completely got in the way of his purpose, his goals, all that. And also, you're going to see that he realized that no amount of attention he gave her was ever enough. And also, there's going to be one other thing, the icing on the cake, which caused him the straw, actually, that broke the camel's back when I kicked her to the curb. And I'll let you guys find that in real time, which will not surprise any of you at all. And I'm doing this as a perfect example, guys, through this guy's story, why, for your relationship, guys, you get a gal that definitely, very quickly through her actions, shows you that she's very clingy and needy, and she's going to want your attention all the time, to the point of just being the biggest giant pain in the ass, amongst many other things. Cut her loose. I don't care if she's hot. I don't care if she's got a great body. I don't care how amazing she is in the sack. You don't need that. And a guy that's trying to make something of himself in his 20s, because he was 28 when he met her, that is going to derail all your freaking progress. And not to mention cause probably problems with your friends and family with how she acts. So that'd be a good one to cover here, guys, as an example why I talk about that. Now, there are parts that drag out a little bit, especially in the beginning when he's laying out his background, but just bear with me, it has a point. So he starts off, he says, Hi SSM. Let me start off by saying thank you for all the content you create. It's taken me a while to get to where I am right now, but the lessons I've learned were very valuable. Well, you're welcome, bro. I appreciate your support. I'm a long-time listener of yours since 2020. YouTube recommended your channel to me when the lockdowns first happened here in Australia about the end of March of 2020. This is when I really dived into your content daily and haven't stopped since. There were a few times when you stopped posting for about a week or so, and I got worried that the cancel culture mob had gotten to you, but I rejoiced when you posted again not too long after. Well, I want to say something about that, guys. I've had guys comment sometimes that they've been unsubscribed to my channel for whatever reason YouTube does that. And let me just make abundantly clear, I'm not going anywhere. And so if you have a period of time you don't see me, just enter the name of the channel in the YouTube search, and it's likely you were unsubscribed for whatever reason, because I rarely take any more than 2 days off in a row. And if I go on vacation, I'll usually film videos ahead of time to make sure at least there's one video a day between either this channel or my other channel, They Did What. So definitely subscribe to the other channel, They Did What, in case you miss me on here when I'm away. But a week long, no. I'm always going to be doing something. But on to the topic of why I appreciate your content. I apologize in advance as this is a lengthy story. I grew up in the early 90s around the time period of big box looking TVs. I could play on the neighborhood block with my sister. And I did not have any electronics for entertainment, like my friends with their PlayStations. This meant my sister and I had to find our own entertainment and rely a lot on using our creative imagination. One of the better moments of our childhood. So this guy grew up not a lot of money in the family. My family life was that of a very Orthodox Christian background, with both of my parents being bottom middle class. Both mine and my sister's upbringing was strict and traditional. Looking back now, especially that I've had time to reflect with all the knowledge I have now, we all suffer quite a bit at the hands of our dad. And you're going to see this guy's dad's a complete effing asshole. To give an example, if you didn't do what he wanted or disagree with him, when it came to actual discussion, he would go full verbal and physical ham on you, as the saying goes. I remember I once had fun with my sister when we spoke to each other with a lisp because we thought it sounded pretty funny. He said no one in our lives had a lisp for us to make fun of, nor was it being someone in passing on the street or TV. We just thought it sounded funny. He aggressively told us to cut it out, which we did. Later, due to a misunderstanding that my sister and mother even backed me up on, he thought I lisped again, to which I got a beating like no other and humiliated me by putting a woman's dress on me. What the hell? Our mother was very meek and didn't stand up to any of that, just objected from the sidelines. Needless to say, growing up like that really wasn't the best environment for young children, and I learned to think with a negative mindset. Well, here's an example, the way he's described his father, of where having a masculine guy in the family, a father, who takes it too far. that he's downright fucking abusive. And that's what this guy was. And, you know, he said he and his sister were just silly kids, making lisps at each other. Kids just do silly things we adults don't get. And he said they weren't making fun of anybody, but it bothered the dad. And his dad was obviously a control freak. And so, you know, you can just see it right here. And that's a shame. Fast forward, and our home living situation actually got worse. I still had a negative mentality, but I stood up for myself more, to the point that after a confrontation with my dad, I had enough and called the cops to explain the whole situation and requested for any services they could provide for me. Well, that's very brave of you, standing up to him and calling the cops on him. They suggested a low-level restraining order, the rules of which were basically don't touch, be verbal, or spiritually or mentally abusive to the individual. He didn't ascend he wrote this wrong. Lasted a few days based on those rules. He threatened to let our pets out while my sister and I were at school and didn't give a crap what would happen to them. That is awful. Don't mess with me, I'm going to let the dog and the cat out. You never see them again while you're at school. What a freaking lowlife. The three of us, Mom, sister, and I, decided to move to our grandma's house and bring our two pets with us, with her permission. He thought something shady was going on when I was moving out with our pet buggy and putting our pet buggy into a smaller cage. I closed the laundry door just in case it escaped my grip, since it wasn't fully trained yet, and he kicked open the door with me behind it, 300 style. Needless to say, it hurt, and I had enough. That night, he got his ass thrown in jail. Good. That's where he belongs. He's abusive. Needless to say, after that, my paternal grandparents basically disowned me for doing what I did to my old man. Well, you know what? The hell with them. On top of that, to get to me, my old man decided to put our house on the market, which required me to get the house prepped for viewings. I had to do all this 2 weeks before the HSC test, which over here is compatible to the American SATs. I did it anyway, along with my mom and sister, and managed to squeeze all-nighters to study. I fell asleep with textbooks and notes in hand while in bed. I studied my ass off, and the results paid off with getting the scores I needed to get into university. Well, good for you, man. You had these terrible roadblocks put in your way by your piece of crap father, but you didn't back down. And you, I guess, used that as motivation to keep on grinding, even though he was doing everything to derail you. Now you're an adult, and you never have to ever see his ass again. And maybe the day will come that you punch him out. Throughout the years, I still had a lingering lack of trust, along with a negative mindset. I tried out counseling, the Australian version of therapy, but it did absolutely nothing. So I focused on getting a job and taking my frustrations out with physical exercise. He says, SSM, I lost a great deal of weight at 5'3", 73 kilograms down to 60 kilograms in the span of 1 year. My sister, annoyed, but jokingly said to stop losing weight because the clothes she had would get me for my birthday wouldn't fit anymore. Fast forward a bit in time, we moved out of our grandma's house, fixed up the new house that my mom bought, and have been performing odd jobs around it ever since. I put myself out there in the dating scene and struggled due to my social awkwardness. But I kept trying anyway. It was around this time in 2020 that I first stumbled upon your content at the end of March. Your videos on YouTube really spoke to me and helped me really get off my ass and not care about what girls thought about me, which in turn made me more relaxed. I then got my first girlfriend just after my 28th birthday, and she was 25 at the time, through the dating app Bumble. Uh-oh, Bumble, huh? Well, better than Tinder. That's not really a dating app. It's used as a dating app, but it's a hookup app. So we're getting to the good stuff, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. So this guy went through hardships as a kid, abusive dad and all that, but he came out strong. Now he's got his first girlfriend. He says socially awkward with girls. So that first girlfriend thing, as you can imagine, didn't go too well. It was great at first. They always are. Her values were the same as mine, and we got along very well. I learned just before I met her to mentally let things go and just be happy. Now, I'm not the best looking guy by any means, as I personally rate my looks a 4 out of 10. My height plays a big role in this. However, I think my confidence from watching your videos, as well as my happy demeanor, was what made me attractive to her. Look, I've known dudes that were really freaking short guys that still got girls. And you know why? Because they realized they can't do anything about their height. Therefore, they worked out in the gym. Some were buff, but when I say buff, I mean really buff. Other ones were fit guys. And they had the personality and charisma that was attractive. And some, and I want to repeat, some women look past the height issue. And I've also known some dudes that were short guys that were some of the biggest, not biggest, the baddest alpha males I've ever known. Look at how Joe Pesci is portrayed in the movies. Think of that. Seriously. It's about attitude, guys. You can't do anything about your height, or you can't do anything if you go bald, or things like that. However, I think my confidence watching videos helped, blah, blah, blah. As I got to know her over the months, I noticed she was getting needier. Here we go. Saying that she didn't think I cared about her since I didn't spend a lot of time with her. Mind you, this was during the lockdown of 2020, where if the police caught you outside of a 10-kilometer radius of your residence, you could be arrested. Oh, for goodness sake. I made it work by making more time for her, smack I know, and we went on a few walks together every week with our overlapping zones. Well, here's the deal. If she's your girlfriend, and you got the lockdowns, you can only see each other so much and do so many things. You can have some time with her. This is for your relationship, guys. But if you're spending every waking minute with her, or talking to her on the phone and texting, that's a problem, okay? Ordinarily, during normal times, when people go to jobs and have lives, I'd say 1 to 2 times a week. That's it. Anything beyond that, they start to get too comfortable with you, and they then start taking you for granted. Start to feel so comfortable they can start pulling BS. But when they have to fight for your attention, and they're always kind of wondering where you are, what are you doing, when are you going to call next, that keeps them at a point where they're going to be chasing after your validation, not wanting you to chase after theirs. Mistakes guys get into is they get in a relationship and they start spending all their time with a girl. And when they're not with her, they're actually talking to her on the damn phone or texting or whatever. They stop hanging out with their bros. They stop going to the gym or exercising. They stop doing the things they enjoy. And they stop being the guy they once were. And eventually, he turns her off and she dumps him. Imagine that. But if you got a needy girl, and you can tell, you got to cut her off. Because no amount of attention is going to be enough for her ever. And it's going to make you freaking crazy, as you're going to see right here. And by the way, in case you guys haven't noticed, this is more of a teaching video. This severely impacted our social time, blah, blah, blah. I swear we could have gone anywhere, but the police were being absolute a-holes during this time, so taking the chance of going out to areas was not worth the risk. I told her this, but it only made things worse. Because of this, she wanted to chat over the phone every day. I kid you not, this went on for almost an entire year. I know, smack. Yeah, smack. What the hell are you going to be talking about on the phone every single day? Especially when you're not going anywhere and have nothing else going on. I mean, do you sit there and each watch TV and comment on the show? No. You can talk to her a couple days a week, or exchange some texts and all that. But it's way too much. And again, she's way too freaking needy. This is when you should have cut it off. As time went on, I noticed her getting more and more insecure. Notice how these true colors come out after a while, guys. They always do. When the zones were lifted, we both decided we would do Saturday movie nights at her place. She lived with her parents. Her parents are very nice people. They accepted me from the beginning and treated me with respect. I got along better with her mom, as she was the bubblier personality of the two, and enjoyed talking with me since I've had basic knowledge about handyman work. He says this is important later, as even a nice person can disappoint you. Anyway, my girl would get increasingly mad at me for not spending more time with her, and I finally decided to call her out on it. Good. I'm glad you did. You should have broken up with her because this is getting out of hand, but I'm glad you called her on it. When I asked her why she was acting like that, since I was doing what I could to spend time with her, she explained that her love language was physical touch and spending time together. I just remember thinking that was all a bunch of BS and remembered your videos about sticking to my purpose. Yes, your purpose needs to be number one priority. Problem is, guys, is you're going to meet girls that aren't going to like that. And what's going to happen is, real quick, you're going to weed out the girls that would make good girlfriends for you relationship types that like the idea that you're trying to make something of yourself, have something going on. You got your life, she's got hers, you get together. But they're also the really needy, insecure types. They're not going to like that you're on your purpose. They want your attention all the freaking time. Whatever reason that may be. Daddy issues, attention and validation, I don't know what. And by you sticking to your purpose and saying, I only have so much time for you per week, you don't say it like that. Real quick, you're going to see what she's like. And if that's going to be a problem, cut her loose. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with this shit for ages, like this guy here. I told her that I understood, but I had my responsibilities outside the relationship, and I was already making time for her, which I could with my schedule. She said that she would like me to communicate more with her, i.e., telling her what was going on with me and give her a heads up if I had responsibilities to take care of that would impact on our time. She's your girlfriend of like a year. She's not your wife. Let's remember this here. I admit my communication was not as good as it should have been, so I agreed on the condition that she would do the same with me and not keep things bottled up and get mad at me much later. Translation, passive-aggressive. To give an example, her family got a COVID scare when someone who visited their place called them on the same night and told them that he had COVID positive. They had to isolate, which increased her anxiety. I kept up the phone calls with her and made her laugh to briefly get her mind off the whole situation. Before this all happened, I told that my university friends had decided to get together for a pool party during the day after not seeing each other for over a year due to the lockdowns. I told my girl when we first met that I had a lot of female friends and a few guy friends from university and how our dynamic was that of the bros. Yeah, I'm sure she loved the fact that you had female friends. Which, by the way, I wouldn't waste your time with hanging out with. If you're not hooking up with them, what the hell's the point? If you do parties with a whole bunch of people that are friends, that's one thing. But like you hanging out one-on-one with girls, you're a young guy and your purpose and grind. That should be your top thing, not hanging out with girls. Unless you're hooking up with them. She said that she loved that I had such good camaraderie with them at the time, and I thought that was the end of it. I offered for her to come to the party as it was important to me that she got to know the people in my life who got me through some of the toughest periods of my life and social development. These guys were the best, and I wouldn't trade anything for the world. Good. Don't trade your bros for anybody, including girls. A lot of guys will trade their bros for some girl they're in love with because she pressured them or they just wanted her so badly that they had to spend all their time with her and drop their buddies. Never drop your bros, unless your bros do something to cause you genuine good reason to drop them. But she declined, which disappointed me. So when they got their COVID scare, she suddenly got mad at me when I mentioned I was going over to the party. Even when I explained everything to her, she was not having a bar of it. At that point, I had enough and stopped texting her. Dude, you don't owe her explanations. And she's getting mad at you for going hanging out with your friends while she's stuck in the house because she was quarantined for COVID with her family. Just shows how absolutely ridiculous she is and selfish. She is obviously jealous that you were out having fun and probably threatened that there are other girls there, that you might find somebody better than her because, wait for it, she's a clingy, needy nutcase. Should have broken it off. But this was his first real girlfriend. So everybody's got to go through shit and make mistakes to learn. And so he sends me a story and I can point these things out so down the road he doesn't make the same mistake twice. I decided from this point to talk to my sister who was married. She is a straight shooter and always calls out something for what it is. So I could always rely on her for a solid reality check. Well, I warn you guys about not taking advice from women about women. Relationships, pickup, dating, all that. However, there are some gals out there that do have a clue about certain things. And there are times when a sister, who is a straight shooter, as he said, actually can help out. And this is one of those times. She listened to everything I had to say, and she calls both idiots. I was a slight idiot for not standing up for myself more. Ding, ding, ding. And she was the biggest idiot for acting like a child. I took on board everything she had to say and applied it to the best way I could. I kept on communicating with my girl, but didn't take any gaslighting or blame for things that were in the end for her to be upset about. This somewhat improved things. Well, what your sister should have said, if it was me, if you would have came to me with your situation, I would have told you to break up with her. That's what your sister should have said. Your sister had some points, like I told you. You'll have gals who'll get some points, but they're not going to get the whole thing. I would have told you to break it up with her. You should have messaged me. Now to the fun part. My ex was never a big social person during her childhood, since in her words, she absolutely had no one. And he said those were a few red flags about her. Yeah. She said she wanted to have what I had with my friendship circles, but to have her own because she liked how healthy an attitude it gave me. I encouraged this and spent a few days telling her how to get in touch with her university acquaintances. She was so happy she called and told me she had made plans to meet up with the girls. But she also let it slip that she got into contact with an old guy friend to also meet up with. Old guy friend? It's one thing if she's friends with a bunch of people, but if she's hanging out with some dude or talking to some dude, not cool. Now listen to this. This perked up my ears and I immediately asked who this guy was. I could literally feel her begin to worry and she gave the uh-oh vibes over the phone. After a bit of pressing, she revealed that she matched on Bumble with a guy before she matched with me, and that she's been speaking to him throughout our entire relationship. There you go. What I tell you guys about girls having guys in backup mode, the male orbiters, if you will, that's the term that's thrown around these days. The guy they keep on layaway, so if things don't work out with the girl's boyfriend, she immediately has another guy, and those guys stay in the friend zone because they want that girl so badly. Right here. So all this time when she's craving your attention, she's getting it from some other guy. And I'm willing to bet you that's probably not the only one. To say that this caught me up by surprise was an understatement. She even said that he knew about me, and she and I were in a relationship, but that what they were doing was completely platonic. Yeah, sure, until it's not. I remembered your videos and saying that this is the kind of thing that can't end well because guys are orbiting around a girl just to wait for an opportunity to get with her. That's exactly what he's doing. I immediately told her that what she did was disrespectful, and I was disgusted with her, what she told me. The panic in her voice was very clear that she was asking how this was bad, to which I told her to go talk to her mother about it. Her mother is a very reasonable person, and I knew would reprimand her. Yeah, we'll see about that. After a few hours, my ex texted me and said that after talking to both her parents, she understood what she did was wrong, but she didn't do anything wrong, which pissed me off. I responded, how that not knowing what she did was wrong was really messed up, and that I think we need to have a break so that I can think about it all. I know what you're thinking, SSM. Smack. Why the hell are you even contemplating on thinking about this, you dumbass? Yeah, pretty much. My answer is very simple. I already had decided that I was going to break up with her, but needed to decide how. Bro, you don't need to figure out this secret plan how to break up with a girl. You just do it. That's it. End of story. Hey, you know what? Enough's enough. This isn't working out. It's not going to work anymore. I wish you all the best. Fuck off. I wouldn't say that, but you get my point. You don't need to have this super master plan, guys. That's nice guy shit. She didn't even give me a few days because she called and texted saying I was being hurtful to her by not talking and communicating with her daily like I usually do. You see why I told you should just broken up with her right then and there? Or broken up with her a long time ago, that you're not dealing with this insanity? I swear the lack of self-awareness of this girl really was something else. On the last phone call I had with her, her mother interjected and said that she understood that I was angry and would respect whatever decision I made, but she thought I should know that she saw the text messages and nothing happened between the two of them. I said thank you and said I needed time to myself to think first. But damn, I was disappointed that she was even giving her daughter an excuse even in the slightest. What'd I tell you? You thought her mom was going to have your back 100%? No, this is her daughter. I'm sure the mother likes you, and that and you like the parents, and that maybe that's why you stayed a little longer than you did because you had a shitty situation growing up with your dad and everything. But no, this is why I told you you should have broken up with her. I called my sis and told her about it as well as my decision to break up with my ex. She was laughing her ass off at how childish my ex was being with the whole situation, while my brother-in-law said there is no coming back from it all, even though nothing happened. To sum it up, I broke up with my ex over a phone call. Thank the Lord. I told you that's what you should have done right away. She was devastated and begged me to reconsider, and we could work through this and become stronger. I swear the clingy nature made her look even more desperate and really gave me the creepy vibes. Now I'm going to say that. I'm going to mention this. You see how he said her desperation really gave him the creeps? Clinginess, desperation. This is how women feel when guys get desperate. Okay, for you relationship guys out there that feel you got to act desperate and clingy and needy and bombard them with texts and all that stuff like that. When guys act the way, it freaks girls out. Well, right here, she's acting desperate the way a lot of guys do towards women, and it's freaking him out. So just keep that in mind. Any of you guys are new to the channel and admittedly are blue-pilled and are that nice guy and act in ways you really wish you wouldn't around girls, women, don't be that needy, clingy, emotional, attached guy. She requested after a week that we meet up to exchange Christmas presents so that she can get a bit of closure. No, bad idea. I agreed. Smack. Due to the fact that I didn't want to keep her presents around, but only if it was in a public place. I wasn't going to be accused of something and have it ruin my life. Why don't you just take them back and get your money back? It all turned out well, and we ended up on a good note. She was surprisingly pleasant through the whole exchange, which made me think that she was trying to win me over by being nice. Yes, that's what she was doing. I remained stoic and calm and didn't show any emotion that she could feed off of, and it certainly helped that I didn't see her in a romantic or positive light anymore. You were done. You reached that point that you were done. After that, I kept to my grind and stuck to working hard at my job to earn enough money so I could get my own place and move out of my mom's home. Good for you, man. Now, if you didn't have all these freaking distractions of her bugging you all this time, even during the lockdowns in Australia, during that time you could have been at home, maybe studying for some kind of a certification or improving your skills at do-it-yourself projects or anything. You can be doing something other than paying all the attention to her to help better your situation so that as a man, you can move up in the world instead of being held back by her freaking drama and clinging for attention. Women get in the way of guys' purpose, okay? If you're going to do relationships, guys, you want a gal that is behind you and your ambitions and goals, but you can't let her get in the way. But even then, and I encourage you guys that are young in your 20s to definitely avoid certainly a marriage, but even in that case, girlfriends. So when you're young, you have the energy and the youth to establish yourself and to build a foundation where you want to go in life with your career or business you're starting and all that. And you can't do that when you have some girl fighting for your time all the time. And they're going to want your time. Even the most cool girls are still going to see it once or twice a week and text and all that. And when you just want to grind on your purpose, whatever that may be, they're going to get in the way. You can always get girls in your 30s. It's not a problem when you get established. Look at all the time this guy wasted on this chick. After that, I kept to my grind. Things are going great. My ex texts me every now and then because she wants to stay platonic friends, which I find laughable, and only respond with one-word answers, which pissed her off. Dude, no, you can't be friends. Move on. She even texted me 3 months after a breakup that she had a boyfriend and wanted to let me know to not make me uncomfortable. I'd be like, great, I'm glad you have a boyfriend. Have a great time. Don't call me anymore. I said, great, but she had to tell him that she was still texting me as doing something like that is not cool. Her next response was intended to be a dig at me, but it failed, saying that he knew and he supported her making new friends. I said, cut to literally last week with a series of texts from her the whole time, and she said that her boyfriend dumped her. I told her, sorry to hear that, but the good thing is you have a friendship circle to help you out with that. And that is the last I heard from her. Bro, you're going to keep hearing from her. If you absolutely do not want to have anything to do with her, just tell her. Just say, listen, say what you guys say, and that's that. And don't talk to her anymore. And if she keeps bugging you, block her. She's just a pain in the ass. Honestly, as I said, ever since I broke up with her, my life has been much better. And I'm still able to stay on my purpose. I've almost got my finances in order. I go out and place offers on homes. Everything is looking up, and I have you and others I'd like to thank for it. Keep up the good content, mate. I look forward to listening to more of your videos and wisdom. Well, bro, I'm glad you're doing well. And what I'm going to say is this. I know you're 30 years old now, or right around there. You got your whole life ahead of you, okay? I want you for the next few years, no girlfriends, nothing serious. Just focus on, like you said, getting your finances in order, getting that place, working hard, paying it down, acquiring any skills or whatever it is that you need to move up in the world, whatever job you're doing, and do well, okay? And then down the road, if you want to do girlfriends, whatever, that's fine. Focus on yourself, focus on building and establishing yourself. You got your whole life to have relationships if that's what you want to do. And I would, next time around, understand the second you start to notice a girl being clingy or needy, wanting your attention all the time like this, you cut them loose. And don't do all this nice guy crap because you feel bad. Because look how much time you wasted because you felt bad and wanted to do the right thing and be nice, or you liked your parents. And by the way, you saw how the mother handled the situation. You thought the mother would tear her a new one. No, you saw that. Remember, generally the moms are going to stick with the daughters. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. Again, on the whole subject of gals getting in the way of a guy's purpose. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.